ebooks. I now want to show you how you can create what I call, or what's commonly called, a Where's Wally book. Now, if you've never heard of a Where's Wally, let's move over to Amazon here with .co.uk. We'll go to Kindle. Wally was a character created. I'm not even sure who the original author was, but it was a cartoon character created as just a sort of average young man with specs and a hat. Um, that got lost in a crowd, and that's the whole point of the book. In fact, what we'll do, we'll search for something similar. Where's Wally? In fact, where's Wally? Kindle, that'll do it. Now, we're not actually going to see a Wally, but Wally, as I say, was a young man who was a cartoon character, and he got lost in a crowd. And each picture on each page was a crowd of. It could have been men, women, animals, spacemen, whatever. But the whole point was there was a whole crowd of individuals on one page, and Wally was lost within the crowd, and you had to track him down. So you knew what he looked like, but he was so small and he was lost in the crowd, and you had to track him down. So there's been a lot of spin-off books. So Where's the Meerkat? It's a good example. And let's see if we can look inside this one. Where's the Meerkat? So out of this crowd of people, like a football crowd, it could be a football in the stadium, there will be a meerkat somewhere, and I'm not going to spend time looking while you're watching over my shoulder, but that's the point. What we want to do is come up and create something similar. We want to come up with a cartoon character. I think it's better to use an illustration for this kind of book rather than a real life photograph. It's easy to work with, and many times I've said throughout this course that one should try and have quality images and maybe steer away from clip art images, sort of free clip art images. But in this instance, I think clip art can work very well because you can get lots and lots of small, fairly low-tech illustrations all on one page, and it's not the quality of the individual illustrations, but the actual amount of the illustrations creating a crowd that you can lose your own character that you've created within that crowd. Let's go back and look at another option. So there's various spin-offs. Here's another one. Where's Gizmo? There's various spin-offs or variations on a theme, as it were. Now, if we look at this is quite clever. Gizmo the robot and his friends travel to 6 weird and wonderful lands, but each time they travel, Gizmo breaks into 4 pieces. And you've got to find each of the piece of Gizmo in each scene. So they've probably got about 6 pictures, and they've hidden a piece of Gizmo within these pictures. Now, we don't actually get a preview on this particular one, but you get the idea. So there's lots and lots of individual small, these are basically clip art pictures, and then we know what Gizmo here looks like. They've broken him down into 6 pieces and hidden one. What they've done is either replaced one of these clip art images or just hidden him amongst the crowd. So that's another variation on a theme of Where's Wally. Coming down, the Easter Bunny hunt, egg hunt. And this one they've not hidden. Actually, no, they have. They've created effectively a treasure hunt. You could do the same. Doesn't have to be a treasure. You could do something very similar where you could actually hide an item. It could be a treasure chest, for instance, in amongst various pictures of pirates or galleons or ships, and we know what the treasure chest should look like, but it's very small and it's hidden. This one, actually, they're not hiding anything. They're just saying this is for very young readers. Can you count? Can you find 8 rabbits and 21 eggs? It's not quite the same. This is really just visually looking for what they've got there, and they're telling you how many to look for, and you've got to count and find them. So it is a variation on a theme, I suppose. Right, so I just again want to show you by example how we could go about creating such a brand new character, for instance, along the lines of the Where's Wally theme. And the best way to do that, now we've had a look at how the format is, and remember what we're after is a crowd of small, fairly low-tech illustrations as opposed to photographs. You can use photographs, but it becomes much harder to actually sort of hide an image within a photographic scene. So in this instance, I think it's either good to go get some free clip art, or go and buy some from, I'm using Fotolia as usual, go and buy some pictures. And I want to create a character around a robin, so I'm going to click go here and search for robin, and there's tons of robins, but I want to create one in a sort of cartoon style, and I looked earlier and this is the one that I quite like. I'm going to create I don't know, called him Rudy if you like, as in Rudy Redbreast or Robin, whatever, Rudy. So we'll call him Rudy, and we're going to create as a character, and we want to create a crowd of birds, for instance, and we're going to hide Rudy here amongst a crowd of birds. Again, remember, it's not going to be too difficult to find, because it's going to be for young readers. It's just really for them to have a laugh and a giggle and track down the character. Okay, so what I've done is I've downloaded a copy of Rudy here, and then what we've got to do is find whatever it is you choose. You need to find a whole pictures which actually work very well as a crowd. So this won't work. That might work. There's almost not quite enough items or characters or objects or birds in this case, but the younger the reader, then the more you can use a simpler image. I mean, we're looking about sort of 12 or almost sort of 20 birds here, so that's sort of okay. That's better. You know, you could hide a small version of Rudy in this image here, and I've created I've gone through earlier, and let's go to my cart here and selected quite a few pictures that might suit. So you've really got to type in keywords. For instance, I just typed in birds or robins, and I just went through and I highlighted and saved images that I quite liked, that I thought could work. Okay, let's go over here. For instance, here's one that could work for younger readers, and you could hide the robin in there. Very obvious, I know, but the more condensed the better. And the original Where's Wally books, who were terribly condensed. If you imagine a jam-packed beach on a sunny day, they hid Wally in one of those, or a football crowd, they hid Wally in one of those. But they were aimed more the sort of teenage to adult audience almost. So that would work very well. It doesn't have to be birds, it could be animals in this case. We're getting slightly more elaborate there. If you did that, you'd have to try and make a silhouette of, in this case, Rudy the robin, but that could work too, because you literally just make the color black and put the robin over that. That would work. But by and large, as these are sort of actual scenes which have been painted, which have got quite a few animals in, we're after flocks or crowds, rather like this. So these are examples which I picked out. One of each could work for each page, and the idea is you take your robin and you plonk him somewhere and let the young reader try and track him down. And whether you actually decide to give locations, I'm not even sure you need to give answers at the end of the book as to where he's hidden, because it would be almost impossible to explain. I think you just leave it up to them to find it. It's as simple as that. And however many pictures you have, maybe you'll have 10 pictures in a book, maybe you'll have 20 pictures in a book. But the key is to get a theme. In this case, I'm using robin, it's a bird, and I'm trying to get birds. Now this one could work quite well. Again, you want one which is sort of bird themed, as silhouettes. There was one earlier that could work well. That's quite Christmassy, but why not? Robin, Christmas, that could work very well. Animals here, so you get the idea. Okay, there's one of Africa, that's quite good. More complex for slightly older ones. So let's go over to Pixlr, which we've used before, and as an image editor, and let's have a bash at creating a Where's Wally using Rudy, the image which I've selected. And I think what we'll do is we'll finish this video here, and we'll carry on in the next video.